Hello everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and I am back today with Spencer from West Coast Varieties, and we're going to be discussing, this time, after a popular 1990 proof set that was worth $5,000, along with, a really complete set of all the varieties he had found. We're going to talk through some interesting coins from 1970 that he pulled, so we'll have a bunch of different varieties. Also, we'll be discussing, some neat color on some of the coins and some toning, and of course the No S 1970 set. But thanks for joining us today, and I look forward to talking this through.
Thanks for having me back.
So I figure maybe we just start with some of the varieties on the small versus large date front. It's often not something that not every year is going to have a small or large date, but remind me, and for the viewers that might not know, which of these is going to be rarer to start, and if it's something you're looking for in each proof set that you open.
Right, so with every 1970 proof set, one of the big things that you're looking for besides the No S is the small date penny, and that's the one that you're holding right there. That's definitely the rarer, variety out of, besides the, again, No S. And for me, the main, characteristic that I look for is, one, the smeared Liberty. At least I call it smeared, where it kind of just looks really mushy. And also the high 7. So the top of the 7 will be in line with the 1, 9, and 0. And when you see that, you have a small date penny.
Yeah, no, it's great perspective. How often do you think you find, I've personally found small date 1970 proof sets. Are these more common, or?
Yeah, they're actually not super uncommon. You could maybe go through 30, 40 sets and you'll find one or two. For me, I tend to find them in bunches, which tends to happen with a lot of the varieties, where you'll get a group of coins in and maybe you go through 5 or 10 and there's nothing exciting, and then you'll get another batch in and the first 4 are all small dates or repunch mint marks or double dies, just depending on what coin you're actually looking at.
For sure. Now, one thing that stood out to me, and maybe this is the reason that you had it graded, but, well, actually, I'm going to ask also why you graded the small date, and then maybe I'll ask about some of the toning on that coin.
I graded the small date, for one, because I thought it would be a little higher of a grade, and I kind of did it as a test to see if maybe there's a chance of getting a cameo on it. I'm not the greatest at seeing a cameo or deep cameo on Lincoln cents, especially modern ones that don't typically come like that, so it was kind of an educational process for myself.
For sure.
But also just knowing that the small date is a little bit better in a higher grade, and usually they come more red. So with the red-brown, it kind of helps with, the value.
Yeah. And, you can see a little bit of bluish toning here. This is more like, what do you call it, bullseye toning? Or
yeah. I think I probably graded this one because I thought it was, it was closer to the target toning or bullseye toning. To be honest, it looked a lot more exciting in the set than it does in the holder in this kind of light, but the true views definitely help with it. But that's just a coin that I thought would be cool to have in a holder and have some PCGS images with it, and it's got some cool color on the obverse.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I can edit that back in. Is this the sort of thing you think you're just going to hold for a long time, or would you try to sell this, and where do you think the value would be on the toning?
I would probably retail it around 40 or 50 bucks at most. I've seen some that are a lot nicer, and it just kind of depends on the collector. Some people prefer it, some people don't. Some people like how it's almost like a eclipse, or like a waning tone kind of thing, or waxing. I don't remember the way they go, but it's just depends on who's looking at it.
Awesome. Well, not only is there the small large date and the No S on the dime, we have a few varieties. We have 2. Maybe I'll start, since we just did some pennies. I'll have to edit back in. I'll get the loop out, but we'll talk through this one next.
Cool.
And here we've got the close-up on that first Kennedy $50, and we see, a lot of, clear shelving, or I don't know exactly what you'd call it, split serifs also in the S in Trust. There's multiple varieties, but how rare are these ones, and, do you look just as much for things that are tougher to find as the ones that are much easier, or do you still, try to look at every coin that you're coming across?
Yeah, so regardless, I'm going to look no matter what, just because I enjoy looking for varieties, and when I find them, I get really stoked. You know, it doesn't matter if it's $1 million coin or a $2 coin, I get really excited about it. And this coin in particular, it was actually something I wasn't expecting because I didn't even realize that there was the 102. I just kind of always thought there was the FS 101 where there's much more separation in all the obverse lettering, but this one kind of surprised me where I thought it might minor variety, and then I checked my books and lo and behold, it's a 102.
Yeah, and when you say minor variety and you're looking at a lot of coins, you know, do you ever have a discovery coin, or do you ever, you know, pick up on varieties that might be Kaneka listed or Konica but not you know, Cherry Picker's Guide or NGC Variety Plus?
Yeah, definitely. I've had plenty of times where I've personally would call it a strong double die, and, you know, if I had the authority, I would say, you know, it's a FS 101 or 801, depending on if it's the obverse or reverse. But even when I do find coins that I know would not be recognized by PCGS or NGC, I still pull them out, and sometimes I'll submit them just because I think it's cool, and I think there's people out there that appreciate it just as much as I do. And even though it only says minor double die reverse or obverse, it's still something that they would like to have in their collection.
Yeah, and I mean, I think one other thing to think about is I know that ANAX sometimes will attribute the really minor ones.
Right.
Do you send coins to ANAX?
I personally do not. It's nothing against ANAX. It's just, at least for my clientele, they prefer PCGS over most of the other top grading companies.
Mm-hmm.
And they also, I guess, just attribute a lot more recognizable varieties.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, something like this, you know, I'd forgotten that it existed, definitely recognize it, as I'm sure I've made a video on it
Mm-hmm.
a long time ago. But this one is going to be the 1970 large date over small date. Let me zoom in. I think we're pretty good, you know, maybe a little tougher diagnostics, more of an extra thickness. Is this one a common one that you find, and are there other ones for the 1970 proof set that you regularly encounter, or not really?
So for this particularly, it's not one that I come across very often at all. This might have been the second one I've found, and you're right, the diagnostics for finding these are, you know, it's not your typical doubling that you would see on most other coins, but this is more like an extra thickness in the 9 and the lower part of the 7. And even parts of the 0, but for me, I think it would be very easily overlooked, just because, you know, when you go through so many, it's easy to just see the same thing over and over and pass this one by. So this one is definitely one of the rarer ones out of the group.
Cool. Yeah, no, and I'm seeing, the more I look at it, there is a little bit of separation. How long are you looking at a coin? You know, are you studying it for 15 seconds under a loop, or?
Yeah, so at first it was probably taking me about 5 to 10 minutes to look at one coin and make sure it matched up with all the diagnostics with, you know, the Cherry Picker's Guide or images from PCGS. But now I think I've gotten it down to where I could look at a full set and it'll take me about 10 seconds to get through.
Wow. No, that probably helps for pumping out new finds, and, you know, I think we've seen some cool ones there. I think probably the real value in today's group is going to be this dime over here, 1970 no S, and we mentioned it with a 1990 no S. You know, well, I'm trying to think. Yeah, there should be just 1970 plain dimes that are totally common. There's very few of these that are coming in the proof set with the proof strike without the S. Do you know sort of what the value is? I don't know up-to-date values. And then, do you have a story? Do you remember finding this coin?
Yeah. So, surprisingly, the value, at least in my opinion, isn't as high as I would have imagined when I first found it. It's probably around $500 for the coin in the set alone, and they're not common, but they're not the rarest out of all the no S proof sets that you can find. Like, it's nothing close to the 1975 no S dime. Even the 1990 no S proof set is obviously much more valuable, but they can be picked. And this was actually the first set I ever found with a no S, and I remember going through about 20 1970 proof sets, and I think I had to do a triple take because I was so confused on why isn't there an S, even though I knew there was a no S proof set for it. but I was just so confused and almost not believing it. And then I had to show my boss and realized, wait, I just found something that I've been looking for forever.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It was one of the coolest, experiences I ever had.
That's great. No, it's it takes a lot of talent to pull out the 1970s, large date over small date, but I think this one most people should be able to.
This one's kind of nice because it's so blatant.
Yeah.
You don't have to use a lens or anything to try and see it. You could just pull out the set, look really quick, and you have it or not.
Awesome. Any final commentary on this set or any of the coins here that I might not have asked a question about?
Not that I could think of. I would say these aren't the only varieties that are found in these sets, and also they don't just come in the proof sets. You can find them, in albums. Some people sell coins in tubes or rolls, and they're all out there.
Yeah. No, I mean, a lot of this stuff probably wasn't realized for a while after they were produced,
right.
too. So, yeah, thank you for joining us, viewers. We're going to film a few more videos after this and space them out, and I think it'll be really cool perspective. So stick around. We've got some interesting topics coming, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Treasure Town, and get in touch with me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Also, check out my website, treasuretowncoins.com, for news and updates related to the channel and collectibles in general. Lastly, there's a link tree in the description with links to all of my other sites, as well as some affiliate links that can support the channel. But with that being said, have a great day, and I'll hope to see you on some of my videos in the future.